Hi everybody, my name's Juliet. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about different creative courses you can study at university if you're interested in art. I'm currently a student at Staffordshire University. I did an art foundation year, then a BA Honours Fine Art degree, and I'm currently studying for a Masters in Arts and Creative Technologies, focusing on fine art again. During this video, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about all the different courses that we offer at Staffordshire University, because that's where I study, but lots of universities do similar courses, have a little look at other places as well. And we'll talk a little bit about different careers that you can go into with arts. So there is a huge amount of different art courses that you can study at university. You might not realise that while you're at school, but hopefully I'm going to open your minds a bit to all the different pathways you can take. So to start off with, if you're really interested in drawing and you've got a passion for drawing, there's lots of different courses you can go into. So we do illustration courses. So if you want to make the pictures and illustrations for books or magazines or different merchandise and all that sort of thing for different companies, you can do that. There's also a graphics course as well, so that's like can be a bit more commercial, and you do a bit more sort of digital stuff as well, so that's really interesting. And not many places do this. There are a few, but you can actually do a cartoon and comic arts course. We've got a fab course here, so if you're really interested in comics and your sort of manga and anime and all that sort of stuff as well, that's would be a really good, interesting course for you. And of course, then you can go on and you can get jobs in those industries. You know, lots of people read books, lots of people have comics. We need to see things, so there's lots of jobs out there for that. You can also go into animation. So we do different animation courses. There's 2D, so based on your drawing, 3D. Stop motion, you know, a bit like your Wallace and Gromit stuff, and puppet animation as well. So the sort of practical hands-on stuff and more digital ones as well. And of course, there's all sorts of films and television and loads of things that you can go into studying those courses. If you're quite interested in doing sort of more 3D hands-on practical stuff, there's a 3D designer maker course. So that covers things like ceramics, so you can make either practical items, kitchen items, cups, saucers, you know, those sorts of things, or more decorative ceramics as well. You can do interior products, so furniture and things that people have in their homes or their gardens. You can do contemporary jewellery and fashion activities, so that's working with fine metal and making really beautiful things. People always want jewellery and, you know, to make themselves look good. We all love that. And you can do digital crafts as well, so that's working more online on computers with software. So all sorts of jobs you can go into that. You can get jobs in companies, designing and making things for that. You could be freelance and work for yourself, have your own company perhaps, but lots of work out there for you in the future. We also do industrial design, so you might be something a bit bigger and more practical for use in everyday life. So we do product and transport design, so you could design cars and trains and all sorts of different things, or products for the home, and also commercial and businesses. You know, people need different products and things to make there. So if you're more sort of a techie sort of creative, that might be a course for you. We do surface pattern and textile design. So that's for making soft furnishings for the home and clothes and designing the materials that might be used for that. People produce some beautiful stuff. It can be for wallpapers as well. So lots of jobs out there designing these things with companies. You know, a lot of designer jobs. You can work with companies, or you can freelance and work for yourself and work for several different companies. But all these courses help you to do that as well. I'll get onto that in a bit. We do a fashion course as well. So loads of jobs within the fashion industry. It's not just your fancy designers designing for London Fashion Week or something. You can do that. You can go really avant-garde and get up there and be one of these high-end designers. But you can also work your way through. You can work for high street companies and designing clothes for them. All sorts of stuff. You can work for yourself again. So loads of things out there. Or you could work in the business side of fashion as well. So you could be in distribution and marketing and all sorts of stuff. So the course will cover all those sorts of things. We do photography courses as well. We've got amazing studios and equipment that you can use. The universities have stores of all the sort of cameras and add-ons and all the equipment that you might need that you use throughout your course, because obviously all this equipment gets very expensive, but you can borrow that and you can use it all the way through. So with photography you can go into all things again, like working with magazines and stuff and newspapers, or fashion photography, or advertising photography, or you can work yourself. You can do like your wedding photography and things like that, wildlife photography, all sorts of stuff, film and television. I don't know if I already said that, but so there's loads things you can go into with that. And then we get to fine art, which is what I did. And the reason why I chose fine art was because I couldn't quite decide on which area of the creative arts I wanted to go into. So I did a foundation year first. So an art foundation year I would really recommend to anybody interested in art subjects and creative subjects, unless you know exactly, I want to be a photographer, I'm going to do that. But you might not be sure whether you want to do illustration or fine art or animation or something like that. So a foundation year is really, really useful for creative people. During that year, you get to try out lots of different things. So we had workshops in sort of woodwork and metal and ceramics and photography and all sorts of different things. So you get to try, and you have short little projects where you try. Some are more design led, some are more art led. And so you get to try these different things, and by the end of the year, yes, I want to go into that area. And also you have experiences that you never thought you would. Like, I never thought I would work with metal. I really enjoyed working with metal during the foundation year when we had the metal workshop. And actually for some work experience, I went and worked with a metal artist, helped him in his studio, and he makes very big sculptures, and I helped him with some of those. And I also made a little sculpture myself with him, which is here. So it's a little sort of metal tree made from scrap metal, and I welded it all together, and I really enjoyed doing that. So I love that. I keep that with me. So it's really worth doing a foundation year, because to try different things and find out something that you never knew you were interested in. So at the end of my foundation year, I knew I wanted to make 3D stuff, like either sculptural or practical, and I was trying to decide between doing the 3D designer maker and doing the fine art, but I also enjoyed the photography as well. So, and with fine art you get to go sort of use your imagination and go a bit crazy. So I decided on fine art because I wanted to use lots of different resources and not be confined to one thing. So with fine art you can work with any sort of mediums that you want, and you're encouraged very much to find your own path. So if you're interested in drawing in a more sort of abstract way, or sort of really large scale, and so it's worth doing that. Whereas like if you want to do very sort of neat and tidy drawings, and you're very good at like portrait drawings and things like that, illustration might be a better way for you. There was a girl on my foundation year who thought she wanted to do fine art. She was very much like that, and she ended up doing illustration. But then the other way around, there was a lad on my foundation year who wanted to do sort of product design. He thought he was going more that way, got really into the crazy things we can do in fine art and all the different stuff, and he ended up doing a fine art degree. So that's why a foundation year is really really valuable to do within art. So during my degree I did lots of sculptural things, and little bits of video work as well, and photography and sculptures, and I did installations and hung things up, and I really enjoyed having that sort of scope to do as much as I wanted to do, or whatever I wanted to do. So behind me here I did do some drawing stuff. So this painting here was from a project I did on my second year, halfway through my degree, about buildings and the collapse of big sort of tower blocks and things like that. And so that was some sort of 2D work I did there. On this side, that's what went alongside it. So that's sort of based on windows, but there was actually photographs that I pulled sections out of and put into the windows. You can't see too well on here. But I really liked enjoying the photography and experimenting with that. And then behind me here in the middle, this is something I started on my masters. So this was using photography, and I'm interested in sculpture as well and making 3D things. And I also like playing with sort of scale and size of things. So this sculpture behind me looks really, really big. But when you get close up, you can see tiny little, fingerprints and stuff like that. So this is actually the sculpture the photograph was taken from. And you can see it's very tiny. So this was used with scraps from someone who was making a big sculpture. So I made this little sculpture, and then I used the photography studios, and they helped me do that as well. The technicians are amazing. And so we made it look big. I used Photoshop to edit it, to give it a more earthy colour, and then blew it up and printed it up big. So you can really play with different things, and by doing fine art you can combine different disciplines and bring them together, but it's all up to you. And jobs you can go into with, like doing a fine art degree, is all sorts. So you can go into teaching, you could go into curating galleries and museums and things like that. You could be an artist and you could work with the community. You can make work for exhibitions. You could go into film and television, and you could be making sets and props and designs and things for that. But there's all sorts of stuff you can do out there. So creative courses, I think, are really interesting. If people who are more creative and like artistic things tend to not enjoy the academic side so much. We do have written assignments to do throughout studying creative courses, but we don't have any exams. It's mainly based on the work we produce. We all have big exhibitions at the end. So there is written work, but it's all coursework based, and I think not having the exams is quite good. We only have sort of one essay or two a term, so there's not loads, and that's the same for sort of all our creative subjects. So hopefully, I think that's probably about it on the creative courses that we offer at Staffordshire University, and a bit about my experience. Have a look out there. Just go on Google art courses at university, look at the universities that come up, look at courses that they offer. There's so many different ones, and art is very personal to you and what you enjoy doing, and so you'll definitely find something out there for you. It's also for everybody. Don't let anyone hold you back. There's lots of courses, lots of careers out there for creative subjects, and if you're good at something and you enjoy it, you'll achieve. So get out there, enjoy, and have a fantastic creative future. All right, take care everyone. Bye. Thank you for downloading this resource and working through the session. So that we know whether it was useful for you, we'd really appreciate it if you could please complete the survey following the link provided. It should only take a few minutes, and really helps us in designing new content and resources for yourself and other young people. If you complete the survey, you'll be entered into a prize draw to win £25 of Amazon vouchers, so it's definitely worth doing. If you have any questions, you can ask us through our website, www.highhorizons.co.uk/ask. Thank you.